Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Wow. Having some X-Power coffee, great for men, and a bit of Milo or Milo, depends on where you're at. So today I want to tackle a story of a guy who approached me and told me that he's having issues in his marriage. And I have heard this question for so long from so many people in the context men, and context is everything. So he has been married for the last 8 years. And what he has noted is for the last 6 years, it's been a tussle to get things right. Like he's had to try so hard to be his level's best. He's had to try so hard to always be on his A game. And it's gotten to a point where he's getting frustrated, he's getting fed up. He's done everything a man could possibly do in his situation. Like I said, context is everything. So he met her when they were pretty young. He's 6 years older than her. He paid for her school. He just facilitated for everything that needed to be facilitated. And his frustration is because he tries too hard to please her, and she does not seem to appreciate him the way he'd like to be appreciated. Now, this is where the story gets a bit mucky for those who are into your lovey-dovey thing. And the truth is, the lovey-dovey thing doesn't always work in your favor. There's a question of, should it work in your favor? And the answer from a professional like me is, what we think should versus the reality can be two different things. She's in a position to ask him, I did not ask you to do all these things. And that in the PC, politically correct environment would be rude of her. But the truth is, we have to look at it this way. We do things sometimes because we want to. The unfortunate thing is we've been taught that what you give is what you get back, and that's not the reality of things. So when he came to me and he asked me, what is it about my marriage that's not working? Why is it that I'm not getting what I feel I deserve from her? Why is it that I've put all these things into place? Actions, I'm a doer. I say and I do. That's what those are his words, not mine. He's built her a beautiful home. They have 2 kids. And according to him, they should be really happy, but she's not happy. I mean, she doesn't hate him, but it's gotten to a point where he's having to put in so much and getting very little. And after doing this for 2 decades, one thing I have noticed when I'm mentoring or profiling couples is sometimes the reason why she's so pissed off at you easily, or she's not easily impressed, or she's not constantly happy with you despite all the things that you've done, is because you are not her first choice. I know it's heavy. I know it can be hurtful. It might even make a lot of people ask, so what's the point? The point is, people say love is amazing, and these are the consequences of signing up to wanting to love. Everything is a risk. It applies to you, it applies to me, it applies to all of us. There are no guarantees on what's going to happen in the future, despite you doing all the things. I've seen men do things that would elevate them to, these are the men that all women describe are the men that needs their attention, the men that should be replacing all the other men who don't do anything. But those men don't always get the results that they put in. So I had to tell him that your wife is not responding because you're just not it for her. Like, there's a time you made sense, but now she's probably asked herself, have I forced him to make sense? Did I try and make this work because he was a man who was willing to put effort, energy, commit to me? That word that women like, commitment. He's committed. I can talk about him because I've actually had face-to-face sessions with him. So I know the context of this particular story rather than just hearing it from a third party. And what I can say is it's not a fault of her or him. I'm not into the whole finger pointing means that you lack a certain maturity to understand the dynamics of a variety of things when it comes to relationships, whether it's boyfriend and girlfriend, whether it's man and wife. What we want to happen will not always happen the way we think it's going to happen. And that's just part of life. So where they're at right now is we are going to have 1 or 2 sessions because she's agreed to it. But the truth is, from my perspective, from my experience, is we're going to find out that she's at that point where he's just not it. And therapy is not about supergluing a relationship. It's not about forcing people to be together. It's not about encouraging somebody to stay for the sake of staying. I don't believe in that. I've never endorsed staying for the sake of staying because that only plants more seeds of resentment, and that could lead into hate. And just avoid that. I mean, not everyone who is going to be together or get together are going to be together for the long haul. The romanticized version is we're going to, be together till the day we die. That's the romanticized version. Whereas in the world we live in today, there's so many variables that change us. She might be the kind of person who tells me, I was so sure that he was it, but he wasn't it. He's not it now. But at the same time, there is a woman who's ever told me that, you know what? From the beginning, I settled because he was there and he was the only guy willing to commit. Only for later in life for me to go like, you know what? I settled, whether I like it or not. I can be in denial, but one of the reasons why I'm not in love with this man is because I settled. So you need to understand that actually happens in relationships, both to men and to women. So this is not a man failure or woman failure. It's just a human thing. People change their minds. People realize that they've been pushing this particular snowball for such a long time, but it's not gained momentum because it wasn't supposed to gain momentum because your initial foundation was very weak. And that's why your relationship has never blossomed the way we would like romantically on paper a relationship to blossom. So I just wanted to put that out there, that not all relationships are going to go your way. And if you think they're going to go your way, that means you're more entitled than you really are, than you think. Don't be entitled. Move away from entitlement. Get into the reality of, we're going to try this. We're going to push. And also, especially if you adopt, I usually say, have a 3 to 5 year policy where you review where your relationship is. Because I've seen a lot of people who met in campus and they were, lifetime sweethearts at the time. But today, they can't stand each other because their thought processes, their desires, their dreams, their aspirations have changed. And sometimes when somebody else's aspiration changes to start heading in a different direction, then you as a human start to resent them or start to hate them or start to dislike them because you're no longer aligning. But you're no longer aligning because you've grown up. You've got different interests. Just because you loved peanut butter 10 years ago doesn't mean you're going to like it now. It's as simple as that. So with that, I shall leave you. Ponder over what I said. I will appreciate your comments. Let's share in this if you've had a similar experience or if you feel you're in that dynamic right now. Please, share it. Let's see if you'd like to have a one-on-one session with me, whether it's to do with relationship or your sexuality, contact me. Everything is on the description or wherever you find this particular content. Somewhere along the line, there's a description that has my details. So please reach out. I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers.